Do you feel like you are behind in life because you decided to pursue a career in medicine? Or maybe you feel like you gave the ultimate sacrifice to become a doctor? Well, if any of those are correct and you're interested in hearing about ways that you could manage your medical training so that you don't feel that way as intensely, and if you're interested in seeing how I achieved this makeup look, then I would like you to keep on watching. Okay, y'all, so let's get started with this makeup look while we talk about the feeling of sacrificing while in medical school, or the feeling of feeling behind, and how to like reconcile those feelings. And we're gonna do that while we do our makeup, of course. So I've already prepped my face. I used the Nessa Myricks, Juicy Boost. This is the glow serum, and then I also primed my face with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I love this stuff. You already know. And as always, I may be looking to the side here while I'm talking, but we're here. It's just because my mirror's here, so that's why. Anyway, so let's talk about the feeling of sacrificing or feeling behind. I think that's a lot of what I've been seeing as far as the conversation is the idea of feeling behind while you're in med school, feeling like your peers who did not go to medical school or not go the medical route are kind of elevating and kind of moving on their trajectory while it seems like you may be behind in life, you know? And I get that feeling. I definitely experienced that feeling too. When I was along my medical journey, I felt like maybe I put a lot of stuff on hold. And I kind of did, but it's because I had this mentality of like, okay, whenever I finish, that's when I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. When I finish, that's when I'm gonna start traveling. When I finish, that's when I'm gonna really care about fitness and wellness and like, hold on, y'all. Hello?
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Yes,
She hasn't texted me that she made it yet.
Hi.
Okay, hey y'all, my bad. My aunt called me. No, obviously I didn't tell y'all, but my cousin is coming into town from London, and so her flight was supposed to land an hour ago, but you know how international flights are, like they're gonna be delayed. That's to be expected. But because my aunt is a worrier, she was already calling me like, did you hear from her? Did you hear from her? Like, I haven't heard from her. So, but anyways, we heard from her. Her plane landed, so she'll be here soon. So let's continue. I did go ahead and kind of continue on with my makeup because I don't want to be late. So what I use, let me show y'all. For foundation, I used House Labs. Great foundation. For concealer, I use Charlotte Tilbury's Airbrush Filter Concealer. Love. And then for my bronzer, I use the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker in Coffee Toffee. So let's just get right into what I wanted to talk about, which is how do you live your life in medical school so that you're not having this feeling of being behind, like you're doing the ultimate sacrifice for medical school. And I think part of it is that you have to really romanticize your life. And when I say romanticize, I don't mean like self-care or whatever. I feel like you need to optimize your life in medical school as much as you can, as feasibly possible for you, right? Because if you go through medical school feeling like you are behind, that you're giving up on stuff, it's just gonna make the overall experience worse than it already is, right? Like it already sucks, but having a mindset that you are giving up stuff and you're behind is just gonna make the whole experience even worse. So let's talk about some ways that I think would be helpful to romanticize your medical journey. For my setting powder, I use the Laura Mercier setting powder. So number one is a reframe. Like I was the queen of reframing things when I was in med school. I feel like I'm still the queen of reframe, but you have to reframe your thoughts around being in school. And let me tell you how I would do it. So after about, I want to say maybe after my first or second year of medical school, I started changing my mindset about what I was doing. And instead of looking at things like I have to do this, I thought about it more as I get to do this. So for example, I would tell myself on those days that I was like studying and things were so hard, I was so tired, and then I would like get on Instagram or something and see, or Facebook. No, I guess it was more Instagram at that time. I would get on Instagram and I would see somebody like my friends traveling or doing something else that's super cool that I wouldn't be able to do because of school. I would reframe, right? And I would tell myself, you know what? I get to learn a skill set. I'm getting trained to have such a unique skill set that less than 0.3% of the population have, which is being a physician, right? And that would make me feel so good about what I was doing. You know, like I would be like, you know what? I get to learn things that are gonna help me not only help people, it goes way past helping people. I get to learn things that are gonna allow me to be able to save people's lives. Because essentially, no matter what type of doctor you are, that is what you're doing. You are saving people's lives. Like, what a noble career. And I know what I'm saying sounds very like corny, like wah, wah, you know, but honestly, that is what would get me through, is my reframe. Like everything. Like I would be in residency and I would just be like, man, I'm so thankful that I get to learn these skills. Like this is amazing. I'm so unique in that I know how to do X, Y, Z. And that would help me get through on some of the toughest days where I was like, ugh, why am I doing this? Why am I giving up so much in pursuit of this? But it's like greatness, with a lot of greatness does come great sacrifice, but I just have to reframe the sacrifice, like make it a less of a negative thing. Does that make sense? Okay, for my powder bronzer, I am using the Juvia's Place palette. The next thing I would make sure to do when I'm in med school to just kind of like romanticize the med school experience to make the overall experience more pleasant is I would get really, really purposeful, or I would be really, really on top of my friends and family about important dates. Like I would literally be like, y'all, if you know something is happening, you need to let me know immediately. Like as soon as you know, tell me. Like I would make that clear to all of your family, all of your friends, that you are not in a position where you can be told about things last minute. And that way you're able to plan out how you're going to make sure that you're present at whatever events they are. Now, are you going to be able to be present for every single thing? No. But I do think that it's important to have an idea of what things are going to be non-negotiables for you, whether it's that graduation, that wedding, that birthday party, whatever it is. There are going to be some events that you want to make sure that you go to no matter what. And the only way that there's a higher likelihood of you being able to attend certain things, do certain things, is if you have enough time in advance to plan things out. So you can move things around, you can work with your rotation schedule, you can try to get people who can cover for you, you know, like all that sort of coordination requires ample amount of time. So do it quick, do it early, and then plan accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And I think that will help a lot. I'm gonna go in with this Huda Beauty press powder. It's the pink one in Cherry Blossom Cake. I'm just gonna put like a little bit on. So the next thing I would suggest in order to romanticize and, you know, make your medical training much more pleasant is I want you to do journaling exercise. I want you to sit down and write out exactly what you see for your life to a T. What is it that you see for your life once you graduate medical school, residency, fellowship? Like once you are completely finished with your medical training, what do you see for your life? Maybe it's, you know, you see yourself being able to travel, being able to have a very intentional morning routine, being able to prioritize your fitness and well-being. Maybe you are a shopper. You're someone who's going to be able to shop and do what you want with that. Maybe you imagine yourself having a very clean and pristine space, you know, having the apartment of your dreams, getting to do the things that you want to do. I don't care how specific or minute it is, but get to the nitty-gritty about what you see for your life. Name those things, list those things out, right? Do all of that. And like I said, do it to the best of your ability. Reflect on that to the best of your ability. And then what I want you to do is I want you to pick out one thing that you can feasibly do now, today, as a med student, as a resident, as a fellow. What is something on your list that you really could do today? Maybe you wouldn't be able to do it full out. Maybe you wouldn't be able to do it the way you want to, but you could do it if you wanted to. Because I think what ends up happening, or I feel very strongly about what ends up happening, is that people kind of give up in their ability to do stuff before they even try. Like, you didn't even try, but you already are feeling like, okay, no, I don't have enough time to do X, Y, Z. I don't have enough money to do X, Y, and Z. And as a med student and resident, you don't. I mean, there are a lot of things you won't have time for. There are a lot of things that you won't have enough money for. But that doesn't mean that it's completely impossible to do one thing that you see for your future self. You can do one of the things. And even if it's not that exact thing, you can do some iteration of it, some variation of it that matches the lifestyle you're living right now. Because you need to be able to prove to yourself and have that evidence that what I'm doing now, there's even greater things to come in the future. And I can start to plant those seeds right now. And it just helps give you motivation. Like, maybe one day on a block schedule change, you take yourself to a really fancy spa. Like, you save up at the beginning of the semester, you know that you're going to do this thing for yourself because you see yourself being a spa girl. Like, you see yourself going to the spa. So you decide that you are going to save up some of that refund check and make sure that at the block change or at the semester change, you're going away and going to a very, very nice spa. That's a way to do that. And then it gives you something to look forward to. It gives you something to work towards, to motivate you. You know what I'm saying? And in that way, you've already romanticized your life and you're not waiting, you know what I'm saying? Waiting for the day that you finish school so that you can do that for yourself. You can start doing it now. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I had to do my mascara and eyeliner off camera because, you know, we need the focus. So I used the Fenty Beauty mascara, hella thick. And then for my eyeliner, I just tight lined with the Sephora brand. I am using Pat McGrath's Labs blush in the shade, I believe it's Paradise Venus. So my second to last tip is to find a hobby, do a hobby. That is something that I really feel like is an important aspect of your life that you should prioritize, especially while in medical training. You need something that you can look forward to, something that fulfills you, that doesn't have to do with medicine. I just wholeheartedly believe that. Like, I just believe that. And you need something that you're good at, something that's fun for you, something that gives you a sense of accomplishment or mastery that doesn't have anything to do with school. Because one, it just offers you some variety. Like, it's tough when all you're doing all day, every day is thinking about medical topics, or you're thinking about patients, you know, you're thinking about exams, you're thinking about all these things. And while all of that obviously is important to think about for your career, I do think that you need some variety. You gotta switch it up. You gotta switch it up. You gotta meet people who may not be in med school that can offer you different perspectives on things. You know, it just reminds you that there's so much life outside of the hospital. There's so much life outside the clinic. There's so much life outside of the classroom. So I'm a big proponent of that. I actually, when I was in med school, I guess I didn't really talk anything about me and how I did this or what I wish I did or whatever, but having a hobby I did really try to incorporate, especially towards the end of my med school career. I was on the volleyball intramural team, and we were good. And it was so nice, since I went to a med school that was a health science center. All of the disciplines were kind of all in one place. So we had a dental school, we had a nursing school, we had a PA school. It was really cool. We had a PT school. We had all of the different disciplines, and so good competition. But yeah, that was my thing in medical school. Find your thing. Find something that is going to give you a little bit of a break and reprieve from the kind of daily grind of becoming a physician. You need that. I'm going to set my face with the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush setting spray. Before I finish up, I'm using the Huda Beauty. This is the loose easy bake setting powder, just to kind of set my overall face. So my last piece of advice to romanticize medical training, to not feel so behind, to not feel like you're making the ultimate sacrifice, is to find your tribe. I can't stress that enough. That is something that I have mentioned constantly on my platforms as, to me, one of the major reasons why med school and residency was a generally positive experience for me. And that's because I had such great community in both of those, and even fellowship. I had such great community every step of the way, and that helped. There's nothing like having solid people around you when you're going through arguably one of the toughest periods that you will go through in your life. There's nothing like having that community who's not only can relate to you, right? Because they're going through it too. Where your weaknesses are, where your blind spots are, where your gaps are, they can help fill that in, and you can do the same for them, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I just felt like I had, in every step of my medical training career, I just always had such solid group of people that made me feel happy. You know, like I would study with them. We would do things related to training together. Like, so go to events or go to didactics together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were in it together. And so I didn't feel so alone. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one who is so behind. Cause it's like, no, like, look at my group, look at my tribe, you know? So I would really recommend that you prioritize that early. And I made a video, or I said something about this in something, I'm sure, about how I would really, my advice for interns, I would really recommend going to everything so you could kind of figure out and see who it is that you're going to connect with, who is it that's going to be your person in this journey, you know, find out early on. And then the other thing I wanted to add to that is, well, I feel like ideally this person would be someone like in your class with you. I think one of the beautiful things about social media is how it connects people. And far from like when I was in med school, there are so many creators who are creating content around being in residency, being in medical school, their journey, you know what I'm saying? So if you don't feel like you can find community in person at your program, you certainly can find some community out on social media, you know? You just have to seek it out. Like I said, I would prioritize doing that. You know, like if you have tried to make friends with somebody in your class and it's just not working out, or, you know, everybody's lame, I don't know, whatever the case may be for why you haven't connected with someone in your class or in person, definitely seek out that camaraderie online, because there's so many people who are making content, and I assume they're making content to help build community, you know, so they want the same thing that you want. So do not be afraid to seek that out. Okay, y'all, so I did my lips off camera. I don't have it with me, but it's the One Size lip liner in Coin Collector, and then my lippies include the Buxom Cosmetics lip gloss, the MAC clear lip gloss, even though this looks very much not clear, and then Fenty Beauty. Y'all know Fenty Beauty. Y'all know Fenty Beauty's lip gloss in Chocolate. So those are my lippies. And then my last step is to go in with the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Setting Spray. Okay, y'all, well, this is the final look. And that is the end of the video. I hope y'all will find those tips helpful. I really do believe that there's ways to make the medical training experience more enjoyable, but it does take a lot of intentionality. It takes a lot of planning, and it just takes a lot of positive reframing, right? So I hope this was helpful. Please do comment down below if you have any questions or any other topics you want me to go over. And if you are not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe, like this video, share this with someone who you feel like would find this helpful, and I will see you next time.